first I was like, it's so, this is so fucking cool.
I listened to that and it like opened my eyes.
You just like sprung this on me at the literal last second. Like, this record is done. What the hell?
This is not what I signed up for.
Like space alien?
I'm curious. Maybe you can expound on it. I want to talk about a little bit about the gear.
Can you edit that out?
This is T-Sweat here from Great Electric Quest. You're listening to Podcast. You better get your kicks in before you're in the grave, my friends.
This is the Podcast, the podcast for all things stoner, doom, and sludge. My name is Chris. I am your host, and today on the podcast, we have something a little different and something very special. One of the sponsors for the podcast is on, and well, we're going to talk about a whole lot of food and, well, music and just some general weirdness. All right, enough of this. You're going to hear my voice throughout this whole thing, so let's get into the interview right now. So I have somebody very special on the podcast today, and I wish I could tell you, like, the connection. It's strange. Every once in a while, you're on social media and you see something, and maybe it's a sponsored ad. I don't even remember if it was a sponsored ad or not. I just remember that I enjoyed the ad, or I enjoyed the page that I saw. It got my blood moving a little bit, and this was a very interesting thing to me. I like to have people come on the podcast that I don't know if I identify with it or not, but I felt like there was some kind of I can't explain why, but we have to talk about it. Now, I have got this person here, and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to see if I can pronounce this correctly, and if I didn't, I'm going to apologize to this gentleman. It is Sam SaHouse. Is that close?
I think that's fantastic, buddy.
I have got S.T. Hastings on the podcast today. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, man. Thanks for having me on. Chris, how about you?
Oh, man, dude, it's been a great day, man. I just got off the phone with a band, and now I'm going to talk about another passion of mine, and I know it's a passion of yours, and that is hot sauce. So let's talk about this in a couple different ways. Why did you start a hot sauce company, and why do people need hot sauce?
Well, I've been a professional chef for the last 15 years, and honestly, Sam SaHouse kind of came about the initial spring of COVID. That was affecting a lot of the restaurants I was working with, and just gave me not much confidence in furthering my career as in, owning restaurants and moving forward. So this was just my step to still further my, profession in a sense, but, seek out that self-employment. And, I've always been a big fan of hot sauce. And that's just something I've ever since I was like a little kid. I just thought it was just fun. And then with the culinary side of it, it's the concept of preservation, whether you're pickling, fermenting, a lot of those things, pasteurizing. It's just elongating that process and, withholding that heat and spreading that heat throughout your whole year rather than chopping up fresh pods or eating frozen peppers or dehydrated peppers. Uh-huh. And, everybody needs some spice in their life, so we can just cut it off there.
Okay, so I guess the next question, what is it? So we got this hot sauce company, and we're going to go down the list, and we're going to talk about a lot of them. I'm looking right now on the website. I see one of my favorites is sold out. I hope that's going to be coming back soon. I mean, we're going to, and we'll talk about this later, but check out some of these flavors here. Funky garlic, piña de Yoyada, Rebality, Smokey J, Taiga style, what? How do you say Taino?
Oh, it's like a fun plain word. It's like T-I-N-G-O or Tango.
Tango. Okay, so Tango and Trop Nero, and we're gonna go through those, and we got something special coming up with that. But I want to talk about you because you say that you've been a chef for a long time. And this is like a fairly new project. Now, the one thing that I do notice about this, it seems so artisan. Like there seems like as I'm looking at the product, and when I see what you're doing on Instagram and how you're coming across the product, it's very passionate. What can you tell me about how do you get the products for the hot sauce?
Well, a lot of it. I mean, it's definitely, like you mentioned, it's a passion-fueled project. I mean, the artistry, the concept behind building recipes, developing sauces. I mean, it's just been a blast. But I mean, it's just fun doing this and getting it out to people that, you know, need a little spice in their life, want to change things up, or like you mentioned, just the imagery. I mean, it just screams that, you know, doom, sludgy, 70s, psychedelic, like concert poster. That's kind of what my boy Steven Yoyada did for all the label design and everything. So it's pretty killer. Super happy with how it's coming along.
And as I'm looking at you, I the likeness, fantastic. Yoyada kicked it out of the park. Yeah. And also, I mean, you know, talk about Steve, man. Geez. His recent projects, Beholden to the Rift, Black Dahlia Murder, Death Gang, Primus, Blackjack Mountain, the latest Canyon, spelled with 2 Y's. They were just on Mammoth Monday not too long ago. He always does some killer material. He did stuff for us for Planet Mammoth. He did stuff for me for Doom Tomb. I mean, and you know what? He's a great dude to get stuff from. The turnaround is massive. It's quick. Now, did he do? I know he did. I did your illustration of yourself. Did he also do your letter logo?
He did the letter logo and then all of the actual fonts for all the hot sauces specifically. And I know he's getting really busy. He's doing some big projects. So I hope he can continue to do, you know, the title artwork, you know, like for Smokey J. It's a unique sauce. It needs a unique name. And I didn't want to just pull a font online. I wanted, you know, the man behind the art to, you know, flex a little bit. Sure,
man. I get you, man. I get you. So, What actually makes your hot sauces so damn special?
Well, I don't know, I'm really glad you asked that. Like, you know, for the last 15 years, I've been a professional chef. Immediately after high school, I went to culinary school in Vegas, and I've been traveling all over. My first gig into restaurants was Thai. I mean, really authentic Thai food, which was amazing. And it's just my passion as a chef, coming forward in a product where everyone can enjoy. And it's not just hot. It's flavor first, then with an element of heat, but they're just all unique. They're actually like true chef-inspired hot sauces, in my opinion. For some of them, it's not just, let's just add some lemon juice. Let's add some salt-cured lemon, where I'm actually like salt packing the lemons and preserving them for 3 or 4 months before I'm actually using the zest itself. Right. So yeah, just really involved, full flavor, true chef-inspired hot sauces that I'm really passionate about, and I personally enjoy every day.
Okay, now I got a quick question. You talk about the salt. What did you say? Salt cured lime or lemon? Okay.
Yeah, it's like you can salt pack like any citrus essentially.
So what does that do for the flavor?
It brings a lot more complexities out. It's just not. It's more rounded. It's a different way of aging or like fermenting in a way, but you're not really like lacto fermenting. You're just kind of aging and getting some more depth out of it. Kind of like the same idea with like black garlic, with garlic cloves. I mean, they're getting more like molasses and rich and dark. When you're salt packing citrus, you just get those like nuances of like the lime, but it's like a whole new ingredient. It really is. I mean, you can use the pith. I definitely take all the fruit off, and I actually take the pith off as well. So I'm just using that zest alone. And it's just killer. It just brings so much more. So people are just like, wow, that lime in the tango is so pronounced. How do you do that? I'm like, it's not lime juice. I mean, you know, it takes time to do those things, and it's just fun. It's another way for me to be more involved in a product rather than just going the generic route.
Right. Now, you mentioned black garlic. What, I apologize. I don't know. What is that?
Oh, that's another cool thing. So you can actually the easiest way to do it is, you know, get fresh garlic cloves in like the head with a long neck, wrap them in tin foil, and you can put them in a rice cooker on its hold warm setting for like, you know, like 2 to 3 months. It's a very long process, but it's kind of like that Maillard reaction that kind of where everything is cooking at a slow degree where it's not browning or anything. It's actually getting dark and black and soft and tacky. It's another really cool way to work with things. So that's another sauce I have coming out eventually, utilizing black garlic. But it's just another fun, very hands-on technique that it's time-consuming. Not many people ferment. Not many people want to take the time to really play with their product or, really enhance the flavors, as like, most chefs would think. They don't want the norm. They want to be more hands-on, more involved. What can we do?
Gotcha. Now, so in regular cuisine, what do you use black garlic for?
I mean, define regular it'd be hard to say because not many regular cuisine is going to be utilizing it. You're going to see more chefs, more people that are really involved in the space, probably like the small course tasting menus, like that kind of thing. You'd use a lot of black garlic with. I mean, you can use it obviously in a lot of savory cooking, a lot of pastas. It's more like a truffly kind of roasted, earthy flavor. But another great thing I did with black garlic was I did a dark chocolate pot de creme, which would be like a dessert, like a custard almost, with some black garlic in it. It's like, ooh, garlic and chocolate, but with the black garlic and the chocolate, it was just divine. It was killer. But once again, I mean, that's playful thinking. You just can't dive in and go, oh, this is gonna be tasty. You gotta go for it. You gotta feel out the process.
Now, when you are mixing these different things together, are you looking to get an ingredient that like, oh, I need a sour, I need a sweet, I need a bitter, I need a salty? Like, I guess I'm basically asking you, like, how does a chef's mind work in that capacity? It's
fun because especially involving like hot sauces, I'm trying to make a uniform flavor that you can taste and go, okay, boom, that's that product. But the more you think about it, you can really pick things apart. Like, is there coriander as a spice? Is it toasted beforehand? Do you have fresh cilantro in it as well? And I just really like to round things off. With the chef idea, it's everything seasoned really well. That's a big difference from going to a place and you're paying big dollars for a small chunk of meat. If it's like a highly trained chef, it's seasoned well. You'll never see salt and pepper at a table. It doesn't need anything. If it's overly salty, it's probably a very small amount you're supposed to eat smaller bits of. If it's less salty, let's just say like a piece of protein, I imagine you probably have a really high salinity factor of like a sauce or something, you could dip in and kind of elongate that process. But it's just seasoning things very well, rounding out the flavors, not getting any extreme harshness, not like, for example, Carolina Reaper. Super hot pepper, really popular, extremely bitter. It's not a tasty pepper. Sorry. It really is not. But with Rebality, for example, I rounded that off with some orange habaneros. So, you still get that floral, fruity note of like the Carolina Reaper and the throat burn, but it's just not bitter. Or that's when maybe I would add maybe some sweetness, not necessarily sugar, but, honey, or, balance that with like an acid, whether that's like vinegar or like a citrus or something. So it's just really rounding things out. But things can go every way. Some people have sauces where it's just super sour or super salty, or, just like really bitter or just spicy, and that's it. I don't want that. I want really rounded out, full thought processed sauces that, you can really go a long ways with them. But yeah, it's just essentially seasoning them very well all the way around the wheel. Not necessarily packing in salt and sugar, but there's a lot of other elements that you can, add the sweetness, the tartness, the bitter, sour, and then obviously some spice too.
Right. Okay, good. Thank you for that. Now, I made a mistake, what was it, like 2 weeks ago or so? So, I'm trying. I'm looking on YouTube. I'm trying to figure out stuff. I don't know. I did something, I'll explain in a minute, but I did something else that, like, I don't know what it's called, but I did it, where I took a piece of steak and I coated it in salt and I put it in the fridge, like, overnight. It didn't work because that was the saltiest fucking steak I have ever eaten in my life. And I felt my blood pressure rising. What is that process called, and what did I do wrong?
It was just probably like a dry brine, or you're just kind of curing it almost. Like, pastrami's or a lot of cured meats. I mean, you're packing them, whether it's just like salt, brown sugar, spices, or anything. But very familiar with what you mentioned. Some people do that with very, very thick steaks. Like, you can't go to a grocery store and get a couple ribeyes and do that, because they're getting cut like an inch and a half at best. You're looking for like a good 2-inch, maybe 2.5-inch steak, where you can literally coat the thing in salt and let it be kosher. You would never want to go iodized for like obvious reasons, but you can go kosher. You can go a full coat. Let it sit in the fridge overnight, or first thing like I do, I just let meat room up to temp, or temper up to temp for, an hour and a half. Sitting out isn't going to harm anything. Season it initially, and I don't do pepper with steaks. Pepper burns, but I just go salt heavily, heavier than you think. But like you said, I mean, that was the saltiest steak you ever had. Immediately, you're probably thinking, maybe I overdid it. Maybe the salt was too fine, or maybe it was just like a really thin piece of meat too.
That's what it was.
A lot of those things, and you won't make those mistakes again. You'll be like, okay, it was a great learning curve you just got hit with. Mistakes are good, especially with cooking when you're learning from them. You need to hit a mistake before you figure out like what is the right way to do things.
Absolutely. Now, I did something else. I don't exactly know why I did it. I don't even know what the next step is. So, and I don't remember where I saw it. So I took a bunch of egg yolks and I coated them in salt, and it was like, I don't know, for a while. And then my wife says like, what are you doing? I don't know, but I'm doing it. And I took them out, and then I put them in like, I put them in the freezer. I think maybe I'm supposed to dry them out eventually. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with it. I guess my question to you, like, why did I do this, and what is it good for?
So you made like a salt cured egg yolk, which you nailed it. I mean, that's a really cool process. You just normally it's like, you can go straight kosher salt, or you can go like 4 parts salt, like 1 part sugar. That'll be different. Some people throw like some pickling spices in that, but you're just making divots, cracking the egg yolks in there, and then covering them with the mixture as well, and letting them sit for however long. It's going to cure itself. It's going to almost dehydrate itself naturally, and you're going to get really intense flavors. Some people will dehydrate them afterwards to make them easier to work with. I don't think you necessarily need to freeze them or anything, but if they're cured well, they should be like you should be able to go like with a cheese grater or like a zester, and you should be able to just like zest on things. That with like a nice salad that's already been dressed instead of like Parmesan cheese. I mean, you could go salt cured egg yolk, and that'd be bitchin'. That'd be really, really good.
That's what it was. I heard that, like, and I think somebody was grating it over a steak and saying that it had like this bit of a cheesy flavor to it.
Big time. Yep, big time. And then, I mean, depending on whether it's dairy allergies or something, fresh Parmesan, let's just say in like a salad, even if it's just like, an oil-based vinaigrette, you throw a little egg yolk in there, salt cured egg yolk, it'll give that flavor, that funk, that saltiness where, like a Parmesan or a Pecorino or anything that would kind of bring.
Right. Okay, cool, man. All right. So we got some of that, with some of my mistakes and maybe future successes out of the way. So we gotta go into this, and we gotta talk about them. We gotta talk about the sauces. Now I have a bunch with me here, and let's see, smoky, peanut, Thai, funky, and the Reap. Which one should I start with first?
Smokey J,
yes,
or
favorite.
Smokey J, or the Tango. Smokey J is kind of mild smoky, where the Tango is kind of mild medium sweet. So it's literally whatever way you want to start with. The smoke in it's really light and natural, so it's not going to be like an overwhelming artificial flavor that you ain't going to be able to get out for a while.
Okay, here we are. So I'm looking, and you got the cool ass logo on there with your face on it. SaHouse Smokey J, green, delicious looking liquid, and my mouth is already watering because I've had this before. It's just so good, though.
I'm really glad you enjoyed that one.
Oh man, it hits. Hold on a second. All right, let me get this. Hold on. It's a good thing I got water with me. Oh shit, that smoke is so good. What's the process for getting that smoke for Smokey J?
It's really cool. I see a lot of people putting out smoky hot sauces, and I just shake my head because I'm confused on how they're doing it, because I know they're not doing it the way I am, because it takes a lot of time. I'm actually smoking all the produce before I actually process the sauce. So the jalapenos, the sweet onion, and the garlic, fresh garlic cloves that I'm locally sourcing, everything's getting smoked with hardwood, cherry wood, not pellets, not a Traeger. I mean, this is just like a straight up stand up legitimate smoker that I'm smoking for about 7 to 8 hours at a lower temperature. And so it's low and slow. I'm really not trying to cook them. I'm trying not to take out much heat. When you're cooking peppers, you will lose some heat, and I really don't want to do that. And you'll dull the colors a lot too. So I really don't want to do that too, but I do pasteurize afterwards. I am applying heat to things. Right. It's about a good 6 to 7, possible 8 hour kind of cold smoke with just like cherry hardwood, and that's everything. I mean, yeah, there's toasted spices, there's a little locally sourced honey for a little sweetness, but I mean, it's a smoke, and it's such a nice natural nuance where it's not just like artificial, it's not liquid smoke, it's just not packed and stringent, it's just soft and really subtle, but it's there.
That's what I was going to ask you also is, as my voice is coming back, and I'm not even at the hottest stuff yet, but would there ever be a future where maybe you can package your own liquid smoke, or is that not an option?
Wouldn't even want to. I think this is really cool. It's intimidating knowing because I'm just a little guy. I mean, a lot of people see my Instagram presence or my images and my photos and everything. It's like, wow, this guy is like big. I've literally had people message me like, hey, good luck, like kind of like being snobby. I'm just like, hey, I appreciate it. It's like, all support's great. I really appreciate you checking it out. Basically snubbing me, thinking like, oh, he's probably already a big success, I'm not going to support him. Right. I'm just a little guy. I'm doing 200 bottles at most for a random batch of sauce. But what I was saying is it would just be really intimidating if I really start scaling things up, especially including the Smokey J, what that would look like. Or it's just a big ass smoker. But it's fun. It's a great challenge that I accept wholeheartedly. But it's awesome. A fun project, but I mean, it's time consuming. It's not just adding liquid smoke or lemon juice per se. It's, whether it's salt cured lemon or like the legitimate process of smoking all the produce before the sauce is being made.
Well, good things take time, man. Pure and simple. We will get right back into the interview in just a minute, but before we do, we're going to head over to Albuquerque, New Mexico for Desert Records. Listen to some of these bands: The Misery Men, When the Deadbolt Breaks, The Penitent Man, The Horn God, Spliff Ripper, Stone Machine Electric, The Angelic, The Growl Brothers, Sorsha, Red Mesa, Redbeard Wall, Fog, Womonero, Lord Buffalo, Nebula Drag, Pale Horse, Pale Rider, Grim Earth, Doors to Nowhere, Zygote, Cortege, Abysm, Betty Bennett, Deadly, Book of Worms, and Breath. I need a breath after all that. Go over to desertrecords.us or hit them up on Bandcamp and check out their tiered subscription service and enter the desert. Okay, what are we going to move on to? What would you think? What do you
think? The Tango, that Tango. That one's nice amount of sweetness from the mango, fresh mango. I put green Thai chilies in there too for a little bit of heat, so you'll get more heat than the Smokey J. But I also do a lot of salt-cured lime in it, which is really nice. Because I mean, salt-cured lemon, salt-packed lemon, that's like a Moroccan preservation thing, which is really common. Right. But I've done a lot of experimenting with salt-cured, like grapefruit zest, other citrus fruit. But with that one specifically, lime goes really well, and it's so nice and fresh, really bitey, and it grabs your attention, that lime. But you also get some nice sweetness from that mango, though.
Now, I remember I reached out to you when we were first talking about, just getting on and do an interview. And I said that I was going to putting something on pizza. What do you suggest? And this was the one you suggested.
Yep.
All right, hold on. Let's give it a taste.
And it's weird to say that because people are just like, what, mango? I'm just like, but people have no idea how much sugar is in sriracha. And what do people do with sriracha? Douse their pizza in it. So, I mean, for pound, it's way less sugar than sriracha. And it's no added sugar. It's just the sweetness from the fresh mango.
That is awesome because you get the heat. And that's the one thing I like. Because every once in a while you get those sauces that they're just hot for the sake of being hot. And it's like, yeah, I get it, but where's the flavor, man? Seriously. And that, oh my gosh. And this is something weird that I don't even know really how to explain. Maybe yourself as a chef, you can explain it more. Like, I don't know how you're doing this, but as I ingest, I'm feeling different and tasting different things, different notes on different parts of the mouth. or different parts of the tongue. Is that something you're doing like consciously, or is this like just how does that work?
I guess a lot of it would be, you know, everybody's palate's a little different. Things will hit them in different ways. I think it's just layering flavors really well and how you're doing to them. Like for that one, I do a little coriander seed too. And, you know, if it's just not straight powder, I'm getting like whole seed, toasting them prior to.
Okay.
And then with like the salt cured lime too, that's not just going to be bitter lime up front or just like a nuance of the zest. It's just more of a lingering fun flavor that does come back and forth. That one specifically is great because you initially get the sweetness from the mango. Thai chilies are a quick punch. They're not super hot, but I mean, they hit you right away, where habaneros are kind of like a slow growth.
Right.
So, I mean, you get hit with the sweetness, you get hit with the spice just a little bit, and then everything else starts coming out. Like the coriander seeds are crazy. Once you toast them, they smell like fruity pebbles, man. It's crazy. Like even cumin and coriander toasted once it's ground, you wouldn't think two savory spices, but it's like, this is fruity pebbles. It's crazy. Or trick cereal. It's so fruity and aromatic.
That's awesome, dude. Okay, so as my lips start feeling like I've been kissing biofreeze, should I move to the pina now?
I think that would be a safe bet, especially right now. We're still going with some sweeter sauces. Yeah, that pina de Yoyada, that one's and you mentioned that's sold out right now, but Monday I plan on cranking out some serious bottles of that because I want it back.
Okay, now as you can tell, I've used a bunch of this as well, and I'm gonna take a little bit on it. I was gonna use crackers. Hold on a second. Let this come out a little bit. Oh yeah, let's get some of that. I was gonna use crackers, but that's just, I don't know. That's just being gross on the radio or whatever. Instead, I'll just I'm just going with all class and just a spoon. So okay, here we go.
Better grip, but yeah, the pina de Yoyada, that one. When I made that recipe, it was really fun for me because once again, it wasn't just packing it with pineapple. I mean, I was like charring pineapple. So pina de Yoyada, it essentially means damaged pineapple, which is kind of funny. There's another goofy story involved with that. But everything in that's toasted. Everything in that essentially is burnt to a degree and charred. Obviously, there's the spices in there. Make sure coriander, cumin, a couple other things. Those are toasted as well. But I mean, then you're just not getting this sweet, puckery pineapple. I mean, you're getting a little added to it, some roasty, some char. Char is a good thing.
This is I feel it's very tropical, and what would you put that on?
That one, I mean, it sucks to say, like, you know, the generic tacos, but every time I'm doing like tacos, whether it's just like from the local shop or, you know, truck stop or even just like food truck, like I always want that sauce. But even on grilled meats, chicken, amazing. Even just like a well-seasoned steak. I'm not a steak sauce guy. I get really good cuts of meat. I season them very well. And something like that is just like special. It's not like molasses, tomato, ketchup, steak sauce or anything. But along those realms, you cannot go wrong. I'm missing it already. I'm glad you got a model, buddy.
Right on, man. Okay. So and you know what? I got to say, so the first two, so they were lighting me up a little bit. The pina lit me. It didn't quite. It's not burning, which is nice. So there's a nice feel where you're getting the and again, tons of freaking flavor here, which is very, very nice. Now, okay, funky or the one that's gonna kill me?
I'd probably say, well, so funky garlic and Rebality are kind of just like the dynamic duo. I'd go funky garlic for sure because the next one, that's the hottest. But if you're a hothead, it's probably like a 7 out of 10. Nothing's crazy right now, but I have a lot of pretty wicked stuff in the works right now because people have spoken and they want to be heard a little bit. And it's like, all right, cool, let's play.
Okay, so here I am with some funky garlic. I think I put too much on this spoon, but I'm going to go for it anyway.
All right, dude, good luck.
Oh, man, the garlic is insane with this. Holy shit, it just, boom. It's like, wow. The whole Like if anybody is a true garlic fan, grab some of this funky garlic because it hits you. It hits the full mouth. It is incredible, man. That is a great sauce, dude.
Appreciate it. And a lot of that, along with the other things like the pina de Yoyada, another fun thing I did with that was adding, like salt cured lemon because it needed that. But with the funky garlic, it's not just peppers, garlic vinegar. I did like a full lacto ferment on it, which normally go like anywhere to like 6 to 9 weeks, depending on the weather and how the fermenting is going. But then when you ferment garlic cloves, they get goofy and they get funky. They'll turn blue, which is just a natural reaction with like the garlic clove. Everything's fine.
Right.
But yeah, it's like big and depthy. It's big. And I imagine it's going to be something to look forward to. I just teamed up with a local organic garlic grower in Wisconsin right across from me. And he's going to be growing exclusively for me next year. And I'm stoked. Once again, I'm a little guy, but if I can support another small farmer and use their stuff specifically, even if it's more costly, I'm stoked because this guy has so many varieties of garlic. So we can tweak things and we can really round things off well.
Okay, quick question. What's the difference between regular garlic that I see in the store and the big old elephant garlic?
And that's all. Well, I was actually speaking with that with him today. So elephant garlic, the term it's just a generic term for just like a larger garlic clove. There's actually specific varieties that grow larger, but there's not necessarily it's like, well, that's elephant garlic. It's just like a generic term from what he was explaining to me about just like, larger garlic cloves. There are varieties that, the whole bulb will be 2 cloves. I'm sure people would consider those, elephant garlic, but it's like another name. It's like fireside, or he was explaining to me, rattling off these dozens of names. I'm like, holy shit, I know all about peppers, but I don't know much about the world of garlic. And he's like a true craft, loves it. He's really involved in it. So I got a couple pounds to play with.
I haven't seen that yet, like in a store. So, I usually just, there's the regular old bulbs. Where can we find like the different types of garlic?
Yeah, probably farmers markets or more specialty markets. The ones that he gave me were, I should have grabbed one for you to check out. I'll show you later. They're smaller heads, just like something like that. There's probably like 3 or 4 cloves in it, but they're like long necks too. So they keep the whole stalk on the top too. It's like 4 or 5 inches. And that'll also help preserve it really well. Garlic like that, yes, it's more costly. Even if you're buying in bulk, it's probably at least, $5 a pound, possibly more, because that's a lot of garlic when you think about it. So it could be much, much more than that.
Right.
But if it has that nice long stalk on the top, you'll know that's legit, that's fresh, somebody's taken their time for that, and that could sit in a nice, cool, open air area for 6 months and not affect anything. When you chop that head off, it's easier for packaging where you can ship out more, but it's going to immediately crush that shelf life.
Right. And I appreciate you giving me that extended explanation because, okay, I have a little bit of water left, and I have this next one coming up. And I've asked my wife, I was like, I texted her while you were talking. I was like, please, water? Can I have some water, please? So that's not happening. So the sweat is under my eyes right now. It's full. It's hearty. And we're going to go. How do I pronounce this again? Rebality?
Rebality. And a lot of my names are all fun play on words. It's goofy. Most of them are hard to pronounce, which is everything which you shouldn't do when marketing a product. And I don't care because it's fun, and that's me. But yeah, Rebality. Kind of like back a nod to the old days of like Mortal Kombat, like
right.
Fatality, but with Carolina Reapers.
Perfect. Now I have had some of this as well. Now I gotta say, I don't normally take a lot of it. I just put a little dabs, like when I'm having some eggs or something like that. Sometimes I put a few dabs on some pizza or basically anything I consume, really. So okay, here we go. And I only have a little bit of water left, so here we go.
Yeah, maybe a little milk or a little sweetness. Water just disperses the heat and makes it more aware. But like dairy or sugar definitely helps cut the heat.
Oh, here's the thing. I'm tasting this again. Yeah, it's hot. Yes, I'm sweating. Yes, but it's not uncomfortable. It's even. It's got this evenness to it where you're like, yeah, I got some heat here, but again, it's not killing you. It's giving you massive flavor, which is one of the things that I so love about all your products here. Appreciate
that, man. So, and it's flavor first. Everything needs to be. Nobody does that. They're not as involved as you think. They whip together a recipe. They might taste it on food and go, oh, okay, that's pretty good. It's like, no, I'm tasting this by the spoonful, dying in agony, having way too much to really nail things down. It's fun. It's just about being involved and never settling for that's okay. It's like, no, really nitpick. I kick myself in the ass because it's like, these are products that not only like I'm passionate about, but I enjoy. I want to use these every day. I don't want to make a sauce for the guy over there. It's like, no, I want it for me. If it's not good for me, if I'm not using it, I don't want to make it. Simple as that.
I got you. Now, with these, so some of I don't have with me here. What don't I have? So I don't have the Taiga.
The Taiga style.
And tell me a little bit about that.
Oh yeah. Well, even back to the Rebality one, very similar to the funky garlic, but the only thing really difference is the addition of the Carolina Reaper pepper. So you think, yes, it's gonna be hotter, but there's more complexity. It's you get that throat burn from the Carolina Reaper, and it's really fruity and floral. So yes, it's one ingredient different, but it really makes like two different sauces. The ones you don't have right now would be Taiga style and Trop Narrow, I imagine, if you don't have those two. And then Taiga style and Trop Narrow, and then I'm glad you got the Pina Dinata, and also the only one you wouldn't have had that's already in the works would be Hot Hand Banana Ram. It's a new unreleased sauce that I'm tweaking on some recipes. Don't be surprised if you get a little taste sent your way, because it's a fun one. It utilizes banana, ají, limon, chilies, and the black cardamom pod. So it's another really, really fun one.
Oh, nice, man. Nice. All right. Well, thank you for that. I'm just trying to clear my throat as I drink more water and spread all this stuff around me. So, okay. Now I see, as I'm looking at you, I see a shirt. Will there be some merchandise coming our way soon?
I've been pretty greedy. I've actually had hoodies, black t-shirts and white t-shirts with totally different images for a couple months now. I just haven't posted them online. So I'm doing them a lot of like local markets, but honestly, if anyone's interested, they could just drop me a message through like Instagram or any of my social medias, or an email for that matter, and we can figure something out. But I got the goods. I actually have some custom bandanas coming soon too, because I think that'll be sweet. Nice. And who knows, maybe a couple other things.
Okay, now, so this is a music-based podcast. Let's talk about that for a second. So, what do you listen to when you're making the sauce, or what do you listen to normally?
When it comes to music, well, let's just say if it's not music, I'm listening to like goofy podcasts. I kind of like it. Whether it's just like random stuff or a lot of things that involve like Bitcoin, I'm kind of slowly going down that rabbit hole.
Okay, that's cool.
But for like music, a lot of doom stuff. I'm a musician as well, been playing guitar my whole life. Played in a lot of bands, a lot of like black and thrash metal bands, which is fun. But you get a little older, you slow down, and I just like had like a reawakening listening to older Sleep albums a few years back. I'm like, this is awesome. But listening to a lot of Conan, a lot of Ahab, or like Monolord, just kind of like big doom, funeral doom, fun things you can just kind of really zone out to. Earlier, maybe like 10 years ago, if you asked me, I would probably say like black and thrash metal. 10 years prior to that, I'd probably say like grind, gore, death metal. So I'm slowing down to a degree, but yeah, a lot of good doom, but also like a lot of fun stuff, like a lot of jazz, a lot of true old blues, like even a lot of folk metal. I think is really fun. Like ambient black metal, I think is really cool. Atmospheric stuff, Alcest, Wolves in the Throne Room, a lot of fun stuff. Agalok, Peste Noir, a lot of really fun, goofy shit.
So with all those bands, or maybe there's a band that you haven't mentioned yet, if you're going to make a hot sauce for a band, what band would you think of?
I mean, kind of crazy. I've been chatting with him right now. I don't know if it's going to quite happen, but I just sent a bottle to Kryptopsy. Matt, the lead singer, he's up in Canada. He's doing the Box and Hops podcast. I sent him about the Tiger style, just like, hey man, love what you guys are doing. I've been listening to Kryptopsy since I was a little kid, and he holds justice, like the old days with Worm and stuff. And I saw they did a collaboration with Heartbeat Hot Sauce, and it was just their scorpion sauce with like a new label on it. And I'm kind of like, wink, wink, nod, nod. If you want to do something, I'd actually do a sauce for you guys. It'd be different country lines. He's in Canada and we're down here in the U.S. I don't know how it'd work, but I'll just say right now, that'd be killer. I'd be doing some cool, spooky shit.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I was thanking my wife as well. She just brought me some water.
Nice. MVP.
Indeed. Oh, yeah. You know, I saw Kryptopsy a couple of times. I saw him at this one show at a place in Mesa called Club Red. For whatever reason, they're not a fan of strobe lights. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I imagine with all the drum and all the crazy stuff going on back here with Flow, yeah, they make their own strobing effect probably.
They sure as hell do, man. Oh my God, they played they played the entire None So Vile.
Dude, that's what we were joking about, like a hot sauce. It could be like None So Mild, or we were doing a lot of fun. We were just bullshitting back and forth. Who knows what'll come of it?
That's awesome.
But that album's insanely awesome. I love it. It's really good. Even the None So Live version. I mean, it's still for a live recording album. Killer. Really, really good.
Yeah, it's a great band to check out if you haven't yet. I would highly suggest it. And they might even have a little collab with the sauce.
That'd be a big thing. We'll see.
I know you talked about another flavor that's coming up. Do you have any other future flavors? And we don't have to give away the trade secrets, but you working on some stuff?
Oh, a lot of really stuff. It'd be really cool to do something besides like funky garlic to showcase those fresh new garlic I'll be receiving from that farmer next year. Right. Really like showcasing a specific variety. Otherwise, also speaking with a company that roasts their own coffee beans, and to kind of see if that would be interesting to do a collaboration with them. Birdie Fuel is the company. We're swapping some products to kind of feel things out. They're a disc golf oriented like coffee brand, which I like disc golf too. It's really sweet. So I'm thinking about doing something with chocolate bootlas and like some sort of a coffee, whether I'm doing like a coffee extract, a coffee tincture, or even just like a cold brew concentrate, using like their coffee with some chocolate bootlas, which are essentially hotter than the Carolina Reaper right now.
Wow.
And it'd be big. It'd be massive, but it's just playing. Also, I have a sauce in the works right now with Roddy with a Fiaco right now. He's out in Pennsylvania. We want to do like a big collaborative sauce, like pretty metal themed, with just him and I, with a completely different logo that we can use together. We'll make a batch. We'll split the bottles, just like a one-time thing, and then kind of see what happens. So needless to say, there's a lot of goodies along the way. If packaging wasn't so difficult to make or like, costly, I would pump out a lot more like small off-the-wall sauces. But if I do it, I really got to commit to at least like a couple hundred. And if it's a fun, goofy sauce, maybe you don't want a couple hundred laying around. Maybe you want 50, but it's really difficult to do.
Wow, man. So is that the future of the hot sauce community? Maybe doing like, it would be like doing a split with two artists.
It could be. I feel like I'm really different in the space because I'm not just like an individual that's all about me. I'm really 100% truthfully for the whole community, really growing together. I feel like the space is large enough where a lot of people can succeed, and it's just about what you're getting out of it or what can you contribute. I do a lot of collaborative giveaways where it's fun. I really feel like I started that wave, and I see other bigger companies do it, and it's cool. I'm happy for it, but I'll chat with this hot sauce company saying, hey, I really like what you guys are doing. Let's both put up a bottle each, and we'll both run a giveaway, and we'll both pull a winner, where each winner from his side and my side will get, one of each of our bottles. I've been doing that a lot, at least like once every couple months. And it's just been fun to just really get involved with the community. I'm a super chatty person. I talk with a lot of people. And then sometimes, you know, they take the bait and they turn out to be really cool people. And then we can kind of grow from that.
Right on, man. Yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, we just, if everybody would just get out of their own freaking way for 5 seconds sometimes and just like, I used to say this a long time ago and it sounds kind of cheesy, but it means something to me. I call it GLS. It's just give, love, and serve. And it does come around to people. I know might not be the most fucking doom thing to say, but I think when you just throw out there without want, things come back and come back, multiple times over. And that's not the reason you do it. You do it because you want to, and you want to, you want to help others. And like, hey, I'm in a nice spot right now. I can help somebody else. Or maybe I'm not in a great spot. Maybe I could use a little help. And it just keeps rolling and rolling, and the stone gets bigger, and it's just a beautiful thing. So I think you're doing it. I think you're on the right track, brother.
It's awesome. It's kind of like being the part of the metal community. I mean, a lot of young kids, when they're getting into metal, they wanted to be involved in something that was larger than them, essentially. I mean, they're seeing this monolithic band that's just louder than hell, and they just look around and there's 10s, 20s, hundreds of people around them. They just feel empowered. It's this is their community. And as a little young kid, I loved going to concerts. I got grumpy after a few months not going to shows, but I'm the happiest metal dude you'll ever see. I mean, people are just he probably listens to a lot of metal. It's no, I love some brutal shit. But I'm a happy fucking guy, man. I just love seeing people succeed and do really well, because I'm going to be right there rooting for them, man.
Hey, this is Jake from Gypsy Bird and Burn Ritual, and you're listening to the Doom Tomb.
We have to take a quick break and talk about Glory or Death Records. I mean, the lineup, it's just killer. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Heavy Velvet, Lords of Beacon House, The Great Electric West, Red Wizard, Kook, Call of the Wild, Kvasser Blasting Rod, Formula 400, Ethereal Sea, Red Witch Johnny, Moss Generator, Smoky Mirror, Love Gang, and yeah, they got a Bow to Your Masters, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 1, a Thin Lizzy tribute, and Volume 2, Deep Purple. You're going to want to head over to Glory or Death Records. The link is in the show notes. Get over there and defend the faith. A couple more of the rapid fire questions. Maybe if you got some answers, that would be great.
Let it rip.
If you could create a dream flavor or a dream sauce, what would it be?
God, it's funny because it's just every dream sauce I've been wanting to make, it's I've succeeded with, because I'm just that diligent. I'm specific. Taiga style was the ode to that. Taiga style, I truly wanted a authentic Thai hot sauce. You don't have that one, right. But I mean, to me, that's my passion. It's Thai food, and pound for pound, I would love to stack that against any other Thai inspired hot sauce on the market. So I feel maybe that has already been done. Something else that would be really killer is to really tread on that true super hot sauces out there, but that are still complex, that makes you keep going back for more, not necessarily for the pain, but for the flavor. And I really think the one with maybe possibly coffee and chocolate boulas, that could be really killer. So we'll just say that right now. Possibly that one could be a really cool sauce. So something essentially that's super hot, fire, but is tasty as shit too. It is really well balanced, where maybe you can use a very small amount of it, and it's overly seasoned where you still taste it fully, rather than using or consuming a ton of stuff and burning your ass up.
No, it's so true, man. Okay, so you have, I'll just say unlimited. You have unlimited funds to create a small batch of hot sauce. What are your ingredients? What are you thinking of?
It would be hard to say, because black truffles, cool. It was a big fad that came in, and I'll call it a fad because it's popular, it's hip, all the truffle sauces right now. It's not just truffle. A lot of people are doing it, and they're making cash on it, and it's cool. They're fun, but if you could actually source out true truffle rather than the essence of truffle or truffle oils, which are not true truffles at all. It's just like rancid oil. It's kind of gross. That'd be fun, but I wouldn't even go that route. The way I would consider it being like a true costly sauce where money's no object is just sourcing out the best ingredients and not caring about, the return profit, whether it's, like the garlic I'm going to be going for locally out in Hudson, Wisconsin. That's extremely costly compared to any other garlic simple to that. Or even like chili peppers. It'd be killer to source out truly specific peppers, not like, yellow brain strains are killer. That's what I've used in Pina Doñada. But go for those like small people that are starting their own hybrids that aren't even stable enough to leave like, the seeds for like everyone to purchase. But, source out that guy. I think that'd be amazing to talk to like a grower that is growing these crazy peppers that the world isn't even aware of. But, maybe I could flip them a big chunk of money and maybe I get to utilize those and showcase those. That's the way I would think. If I could have like no limits on a sauce, I would just source out some really cool, unique shit and essentially bring others for the ride with me.
That sounds kind of freaking amazing, actually. Okay, so, all right, here we go. Let's see. I had a bunch of these cooking questions, but I don't even know where to start. So, okay, here's the thing. I just started creating a starter for sourdough bread.
Okay.
I'm trying. I don't know how long. I was online again looking, and it's like, 7 days worth. You get a good starter, and it's nice and tangy and all that. What is the hardest type of bread to master?
A good sourdough boule. I would stand by that. Bread essentially is very easy if you know the technique. You'll fuck up a ton, but if you have the technique down, it's sound. I would say like what you're doing sourdough, to do like a true traditional one, whether if you're even like a pastry knife at the end to get those beautiful little marks on the top where it splits and opens.
Yep.
But it's all with the starter. I've known chefs to, go to goofy locations for vacation, whether they're just trying to collect like open spores just in the air, like, in high altitude in Colorado or in other states, and just seeing like, what that could produce as a sour. But you're just really letting that go. Soursough's bitching. It's not just you mix your dry ingredients, let it proof a little bit. There's like multiple stages of proofing, and it's not just textbook. Okay, 15 minutes, it should look like this. Okay, good. It's like, no, if the temperature's not right, you got to work with it. You got to play with it. It's not a perfect science. I mean, it's more visual. Like if it's not proofing enough, it's not like it's bad. It's like, maybe it needs to be a little warmer. Maybe you put it over an oven that just has the pilot light exposed, not turned on, just to get some residual heat. Or maybe you just like put it in your oven with the door open, but not even turned on. That like sourdough, once you nail that shit, it's awesome. But it's just not writing down exactly what you did. It's more or less just like seeing what you did with your eyes and, what to do for the next step. It's very instinctually. It's very involved. It's sourdough, baby.
I'm trying. Okay.
Dude, hats off to you, man.
Now, since I have you here, and this is going to be the final thing that I have to talk about because you are a chef, you know stuff. Okay. Ian, the gentleman that edits this, could we please have some chef music? That would be awesome. I really would appreciate that. Thank you. And we'll take a few seconds to hear that. Oh, yes. Oh, that's very nice. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this chef or that chef. If you want to tell me why, you can. If not, that's okay.
Yeah.
And everybody here is amazing, but it's going to be one or the other. You ready?
That's for real, buddy.
Okay. David Chang or Gordon Ramsay?
David Chang all day. I love what he does, fermenting and pickling thing. Gordon Ramsay's a killer dude. No doubt about that. He's ground his teeth. He's done a lot in this space. He earned every amount of respect that he's given. But David Chang's extremely involved in the industry. He's very passionate. He's a hard ass. He's rough. A lot of those guys are pricks. They're assholes. Don't cross them. But at the end of the day, they just want a perfect product for everyone to enjoy. That's just precise. David Chang, cool dude.
Okay. We're going a little deeper here. Mauro Colagreco or Joel Robuchon?
Robuchon. just with the old G ways of him doing mashed potatoes. It's killer. I mean, it's like equal amounts of potato to butter. It's pretty wicked, pretty delicate. You feel like your heart's slowing down after you're eating them. Just so this restaurant's still alive in Vegas and stuff. It's it's good shit.
All right. Rachel Ray or Julia Child?
I don't know. I don't want to be biased, but I used to rip on Rachel Ray a lot. So I'll say Julia Child just because it's OD. It's like old school classic. It came before so much information out there where she was also doing her due diligence. She was doing her research and she was training in places that might not be as acceptable to train as a woman at that time. It's hard to say, like most restaurants, even today, they're like, oh, it's just dudes only. No, I love making up the dynamics. When I'm able to hire like a female executive sous chef or anything, fantastic. Different mindset. It's just not a bunch of pirates just barking at each other. So yeah, mad respect to Julie Child.
Okay. Now with this next one, for me, like if it wasn't for this person, there would be no food channel. Personally, that's just my opinion. So we got Emeril Lagasse or Mario Batali.
Emeril for sure. I think Mario's a punk. And that's being a jerk too, but most chefs are very opinionated. But no, Emeril, it was kind of funny. I remember still as like a young kid, like watching Emeril with my dad and just loving it. It was cool because it was entertainment, but it wasn't just a personality. I mean, he was also skilled. One of my first real experiences going to like a fine dining establishment was at Emeril's restaurants down in New Orleans when I was a really, really small kid. He wasn't there, but I got to speak the executive chef at the time, and he came out, and I was just this little kid, and I was like, this is awesome. But no, Emeril's the shit, man. I hope he's still doing well out there, but yeah, I love his personality. He did a lot to the entertainment aspect of, but still actually putting out information that people can enjoy and in an entertaining way. I mean, that's hard. Cooking's not fun for the most part, but he made it look like a goddamn blast every time he's doing it.
Absolutely. And excuse me, Wolfgang Puck or Bobby Flay?
That's a big toss up. I don't really care for both of them. I will say Bobby Flay because he used to crush it back in the Iron Chef days, and he won a couple times back in the original Japanese ones, and just pissed off a ton of people because he like jumped on his cutting board and shit. And I loved that. I thought that was funny as hell. And even he knew that was the wrong thing to do, but it was cocky and arrogant. But hey, you just crushed it. You won. Flip the table over. Fuck it.
Absolutely. And finally, Anthony Bourdain or no one. There's no one. I'm not gonna fuck with that because Bourdain's the man.
I agree. I was waiting for your response. Like,
yeah, who could you put him against? I mean, the guy. I love his books. I love what he did because it wasn't just the food. It was the essence of the area that created the food. I have a poster, St. Anthony. It is in my kitchen, and we pray to St. Anthony every day when we cook. It's very important. So there is no need to think of an or. It's just Anthony Bourdain. Everybody should get that straight. Yeah. Now,
and that's, I was waiting because it's like, no matter who you pulled against him, I was going to go Anthony because, once again, I mean, with Emeril, he brought the entertainment factor to it, but Anthony Bourdain, he brought the realistic, the culture, the essence of being like a chef worldwide. It's like, we're not just eating, fine caviar and fancy shit. No, we're eating street food. We're eating shit, hopefully in other countries for, $1, a couple quarters. And it's the best thing you've ever had. It's big, bold, it's funky. He's down in the gutters. He's just eating with the common folk because that's food that's interesting to me. And sadly enough, on my 30th birthday is the day he passed away. And that fucking sucked. Because, I was stoked for my 30th birthday. I got a couple calls and I'm just like, there's no fucking way I'm ever going to remember or forget this day. So yeah, June 8th. That's when we lost him. It's like, that sucks. But, yeah. It's too damn bad.
Yeah, it truly was. But we got what we got, and I still watch the the programs. My wife even has his, the show intro theme song as a ringtone. So, yeah, our hearts are always with him.
Awesome.
So, listen, Esty, thank you so much for joining us. Now, I'm sure, the links will be in the show notes for everything. So tell everybody, how can they reach out to you? And if they want some merch, what do they have to do?
Awesome, buddy. Well, I'm sure everything will be typed out because my spelling's a little goofy, but it's just samsouse.com or just samsouse on Instagram or Facebook. And then for merch, expect something posted on the website soon. I kind of had a limited amount, so I didn't really put things out there, but I do have things. I have things in all sizes. So you can drop me a message, whether it's any social media. My email is just samsouse@hotmail.com. And I'll take care of you. I'm super personal. I'm a very easy guy to talk to, so don't be timid. Come at me.
Thank you so much, brother, and I think we'll be talking again sometime very soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. This is a blast, man. Thanks for the opportunity to come on and, talk some sauce and talk some doom.
Absolutely, man. You take care.
Hey, you too, buddy. Cheers.
Thank you so much to ST Hastings for being on the podcast and taking some time to sponsor the Doom Tomb podcast. SaHouse. Yeah, you heard the explanation. And, yeah, man, whatever you are looking for, if you want all things hot, you got to go check it out. There is a link in the show notes for 10% off your first order. You're going to want to do it, and do it very, very soon, especially if you like hot sauce. I can't get enough of it. I'm telling you, that Smokey J, man, that's almost a daily occurrence in my house. Also, huge thank you goes out to Ian from No Masters Audio, and also the band Stonewitch. That is the house band for all things Doom Tomb. Also, we have a show coming up from Planet Mammoth. It's going to be at Yucca Tap Room October 19th of 2021. Formula 400 is going to be on tour. It's a Glory or Death Records band. And also, at that show, you will see Grail. I know they got some secrets up their sleeve. I hope they announce something very, very soon. And also, Secrets of Lost Empires. John Quinn is also in the band Mosara, and Joshua Mathis, incredible artist. I got to get him on again someday. Yeah, we'll have to talk to him. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. I hope you enjoyed this. This was something a little different, but yeah, every once in a while we got to mix it up, right? All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. Get out to those shows, buy some of that band merch, and don't forget to stay heavy.